To be another audacious step on the road to a $30 billion economy. The Enugu State government last year teamed up with a Danish company, ODK Group APS, owners of Nortra Tractors and Equipment Limited. Following this partnership last October, Governor Peter Mbah performed the groundbreaking ceremony of the Enugu State Nortra Tractor Plant and Service Center, a tractor assembly plant and service center to see the manufacturing of high-quality agricultural equipment and machinery, including no less than 800 tractors locally.
A wide door of opportunities for our teeming young people to get upskilled and also to get constructively engaged. So we thank and commend the management and team of Nortra for identifying and picking Enugu as your #1 investment destination in Africa.
For emphasis, this partnership aims to not only import 200 tractors, but also to establish local production of hundreds more within the state. This Monday, 100 tractors of the 200 expected for the first batch arrived at the site at number 9 Works Road, GRA, Enugu. Let's take a look.
Everyone, which is about 5 liters. Just down. Huh?
60,000. So the question now is, could Nortra Tractors be the key to unlocking Enugu's agricultural potential? This is Enugu Kwenu. I am Nathalie Oku. Good evening. Enugu Kwenu on AFIA TV, and joining me today are the Managing Director, Nortra Tractors and Equipment Limited, and CEO, ODK Group, Mr. Morton Anderson, and Director, Nortra Tractors and Equipment Limited, Honorable Engineer Philip Ejogo. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. I would have loved to say welcome to Enugu, but you're now a frequent visitor, sir, so no need for that. And I'm sure that Mr. Ejogo has been getting you, of course, around the state, so welcome.
Thank you very much.
So let's start with you now, sir. What actually motivated you to invest in Enugu as your first pick across the continent?
I think it needs some kind of commitment from both sides, so from Enugu and from my Danish team, my partner and I, Camilla. We have tried to find some strategies into Africa. And when I met Philip like 3 years ago, we discussed a lot what kind of state are doing and want investments from a foreigner. So basically that's why we're here. We have shown that we are trustful. So now when we're here, we will just develop even more.
I mean, we look forward to that. Let's come to you now, Engineer Jogo. Could you tell us more about the tractor plant setup? You know, the assembly plant, the service center. Some people may be seeing this in action for the first time. Tell us about how it operates and the plant itself.
Okay, thank you very much. So, like Morton said, I call him my boss. Well, over a few years, we've been talking about how to, drive revolution in agriculture. And like ODK Group is about the biggest manufacturers of farm equipment in Denmark and about the biggest two in Europe. So we had this partnership, and I thought of bringing in this equipment into Nigeria. And of course, when you talk about agriculture, you think about tilling the soil, right? And the first activity when you talk about agriculture is clearing of the lands, first and foremost. But in today's world, it's more like our youths are being laid back, getting involved in agricultural activities. And this is because of the tedious activity that has to do with agriculture. But, thinking about it, when mechanization comes in and you bring a lot of artistic builds into agriculture, I'm sure a lot of our youths are going to get more interested in agriculture. So this is why we decided to embark on this journey. And good enough, being generous, Moulton said we have to set up an assembling plant here. So it's not just about ordering this equipment, but we have to set up a plant here. It's going to provide employment to teenage youths and a whole lot of other supply chain and agriculture. So I thought about it at the time. We brainstormed. We took a review and study around the country out of the 36 states. And we thought about the governor who is going to help us drive this initiative 100%. And when we did all our whatever, I mean, it was always Enugu. Every time it was always Enugu. And the man, Pitamba, is somebody that we thought is definitely going to drive our pursuit. And we gave it a try. And I could tell you, within 2 weeks, he invited us for a discussion. And on the day of discussion, we closed the deal. And we had 2 different sites to look at to choose where we wanted to use as our sites. And both of them were nothing less than 1,000 hectares. So my boss made a choice, and we swung into action. And he also asked that maybe before we're done with setting up this plant, it's going to be rainy season already. So he wanted some of these tractors to come in directly from Denmark so that we could use this first phase of agricultural season and while we do our stuff. So we have 100 tractors already, and hopefully we're going to have another order of another 100 before we start production.
All right, now let's come back to you now, sir. I'm sure it was an uphill battle bringing the tractors. Finally, let me not say to Enugu, because getting them to Enugu is one thing. Now, getting them to the site is yet another. How was that process like for you?
The process the last 2 days has just been amazing because I have been in the engine room. So I've been driving these tractors from A to B with our dedicated team. But from the very beginning, where we signed the contract with His Excellency and the Ministry of Trade and Investment, then it's a long process because it takes like 3 to 4 months before you're getting into production, get it on the sea, and then offloading it in Enugu. So it's a long process, but now when it's finally here, it's just amazing to see how it is. And everything is just rolling,
Okay, so out of the 200 expected to be imported, we understand we're meant to have 200 coming in from Denmark, and then 800 or no less than 800 are supposed to be assembled here. Cool. What progress has been made so far in bringing in the remaining 100 before we get to the technical aspect?
Okay, go ahead. So we have the 100 already on ground. Like the 100 tractors are at the site right now. And the other 800 would start after the other 100 order. That is to the discretion of His Excellency when he's ready to make the order of other 100. But hopefully, we're looking at commissioning that site later this month, or at the most next month. And when we commission the site, then of course we can start assembling these tractors here in Enugu State. So that means we're just going to have our parts coming from Denmark, and then the youths of Enugu State who are going to be employed, obviously, on the side are going to take part in assembling the other tractors. So we'll have
the youths are going to be a part of the manufacturing process. They're going to be trained.
Yeah, of course.
That's fantastic. I mean, you talked about youth empowerment, but now you're actually breathing life.
Okay, so the assembling plant is not just going to be a factory. So His Excellency has mandated that it's going to be an institution. So when you get on the site right now, you're going to see a lot of constructions going on. So not just the assembling plant per se, we're making rooms for offices. And again, I'll come back to this. We're going to have an office called the Enugu State Tractor Leasing Company. And then we're going to have a big institution where people are going to go for trainings and courses and all of that. And we intend to also have a farm right there so people can do practicals and drive the tractors in our farms and stuff. So basically, it's going to be a whole supply chain of anything called tractor and agriculture.
All right.
So when we're done, is going to be open. I don't know how the state intends to do that, but the youth who are interested to embark on tractor services, driving of tractors, servicing of tractors, and all of that are going to come. We're going to have a 2 years weeks of training.
Yes.
And after the training, of course, there are going to be employments to employ the youths of Enugu State and beyond to be part of the Nortra Enugu tractor plant.
That is extremely
And then from
impressive.
there, every other supply chain is going to...
Okay, so I know Mr. Morton would like to add to that conversation, and also people will be wondering what kind of tractors are being brought in, because they want to talk about the model, the horsepower, the capacity. You know, tell us about the model and the features of the tractors that we are going to be seeing.
Yeah. First of all, it's from what Philip was saying. It's like a full package solution we bring to Enugu. So it's not just like selling tractors. It's like a full package, which means we are very dedicated to Enugu, which is very important. As you also see the sponsorship for the local football club, Enugu Rangers.
Yes.
So we are very dedicated to Enugu. But back to the tractors, we can manufacture all from like 50 horsepower and up to 180. So again, it depends what kind of requirement Enugu wants. We can basically build whatever they want for the specifications, of course.
So of all the 100 now, what particular model was, you know?
Yeah, we made a 75
ordered.
horsepower tractor,
All right.
which is the most used in Nigeria, Africa, basically. By the next 100, I believe that Enugu is gonna have some bigger tractors, like with 90 horsepower and so on. But the main thing here is that we just want to, like for the next 800, we want to like put up the assembly line for smaller tractors, what I call mini tractors, and then for up to 180 horsepower. So it's going to be small, medium, big. It depends on the client.
So any kind, even of all the 1,000, let's just put the figure at 1,000 now. It can be of different models depending on what Enugu
You will see different
decides.
models go around in Enugu.
Now, people will be asking, because we know the economy we are functioning in now, they'll be wondering what kind of fuel is used to operate the tractors. Are we talking about regular fuel or diesel or diesel? So your pockets have to be quite deep.
No, for now we have diesel, but Nortra is also coming up with the CNG
Great.
tractors by 2026. So we're actually working on that, and hopefully we might have EVs, like electric tractors, very soon.
That would be fantastic. What would you do about the charging points?
Oh, we're working on that. I mean, of course, the EV charging points are diving into Nigeria, and there are different points. But of course, if we set up that, we're going to have facilities to have charging points, like most of the farms that we're going to deploy them.
All right. Would you like to add to that?
Yeah, but going from diesel, the normal way that a farmer are used to go to a electrical tractor is a big transformation.
It is. Yeah.
So the technology is very expensive, but very soon we will launch something very nice. And of course, at the site we have the showroom, we have assembly plant, service center, training center, so all in one. So we're gonna put like the different models we have, so people can come now and see, okay, we would like this one. So it's much easier to do the necessary.
Okay, so speaking about the showroom, tell us about what the showroom in Denmark looks like. If someone walks into the showroom in Denmark, what does it look like? What are we to expect down here?
Denmark headquarters is like very luxury. So when you come into the field, we have like grass in the showroom. So you see the tractors, you see the trailers, and all the implements basically, and that's basically it.
What is the showroom,
we're working together with the foreign ministry, the Danish foreign ministry. So there's a lot of activity, especially in Africa. And I know that next week there will be some visitors from Nigeria, which is amazing. People now knows Nortra, and that's just the thing, The brand has to be big.
Okay, let's come back to you now, engineer. People are wondering, okay, equipment, tractors, are there other agricultural machinery that we're going to expect in the States beyond the tractors?
So the tractor is a driving machine, actually. So there are a lot of implements that are attached to a tractor. So there's a tractor, and in the different stages of farming, for the clearing, for harvesting, so we have different implements that comes with the tractors, like plowers, harvesters, harrows, and all of that. So we have all of that in place. So the tractor, we have all the implements in place. And also, the governor didn't just order for the tractors, he ordered for tractors and implements, like full implements that comes with the tractor. So it's a full chain. Totally.
That's great news. Now, people will be wondering what the terms of the agreement are. I mean, you're partnering with the state government, and in a partnership, it has to go both ways. Both parties have to be benefiting from that arrangement. So I'd like us to also hear, get some information about the terms of the agreement. Any of you can...
Yeah, so basically, the governor's interest is how to empower the youths of Enugu, the farmers in Enugu, basically from what we understand, that is his interest, to grow the production of agriculture. You've heard him say a couple of times he's trying to grow the investment portfolio of Enugu State from 4 billion to 30 billion, or to 300 billion rather. So, and of course, agriculture is...
So 4 billion to 30 billion.
4 billion to 30 billion,
dollars,
right?
yes.
Sometimes
I wonder if it's naira, then I remember it's dollars.
No,
so
it's dollars. It can't be naira.
It's quite massive.
Naira, yeah. But with what we see going on right now in Enugu, I think it's going to probably even surpass that, because from the information I just got, I heard some air fleet aircraft just landed in Enugu State, and the Enugu train air whatever is about to take off. And if that happens, we're almost getting to the projection here in terms of, and agriculture, of course, it's some venture that you cannot overemphasize. I mean, Niger State declared a profit of over $400 million just last year, and I think we can do that here.
Yeah. So what about the agreement? How are you going to share profits? How is it going to work out?
Oh yeah, well, in terms of the final agreement, we've not fine-tuned finally on that. So basically, it's there's an aspect of both parties are so enthusiastic to getting to see this work. First of all, for Moulton is about selling of tractors, and as well putting up that front to make sure that we grow and change the revolution of agriculture in Nigeria. And for the governor, it's also the same thing. So there's a lot we're already putting in without asking final questions of who's gonna get, and the sharing profits is gonna get more, who's gonna get more. We're not, for me, really to, as you know, I'm a politician, but I'm an engineer, but basically it's about empowerment.
All right.
It's mostly about
you can be an engineer, a politician during the day and an engineer at night. So
no, I'm more of an engineer during the day and a politician at night.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
So basically, like, and when we had inauguration of the Southeast Development Commission, I had a meeting with a few of the MDs, the MD, and also the executive director for agriculture for Southeast Development Commission, and we've been brainstorming. And again, they said they want to drive agriculture in the whole of the South is using the roadmap of Enugu State. So we're talking about how to push Nortra, not just to serve Enugu State, but to serve into the entire Southeast. So it's not just going to be about Enugu, it's going to be about Enugu, Ebonyi, Abia, Imo, and Anambra.
But then the base would remain Enugu.
Of course, the base is here. The assembly plant is here for the whole of Nigeria.
All right, let's now come back to Mr. Moulton. How long does it take to construct one tractor?
It depends again on what kind of line you have, like the assembly line. But you say for that setup we're gonna put into Enugu, we will make, also depending on the model, but between 7 and 10 each day.
7 and 10 tractors can be made each day?
When we're up and running.
Okay.
So that means it's between 250 to 300 per month when we're up and running. So, yeah.
Okay, then in terms of the agricultural space, I would like to gain your appreciation of the space in Enugu. When you think of the agricultural terrain in the States, what comes to mind? What have you been able to observe? What are you hearing from the agriculturists, the farmers? What's your appreciation of that information? And if you can also speak to the idea of the farm estates that the state government is trying to put in place in the States, how that on average works in Denmark, and how Nortra can be a part of such an arrangement.
First of all, Africa and the Nordic countries, you can't compare, especially not into farming. But I'm thinking, and what I'm hearing in the town is like people are quite open for a new brand, because for the past there has been like John Deere and Massey Ferguson, Fendt and so on. But now we are the new player on the market. So what I'm hearing and what I see is that people are excited for what His Excellency has agreed to with Nortra. Yeah.
Okay, so the idea of the farm estates, you don't...
Oh yeah, so I'm aware about the farm estates. That's actually also what the model the Southeast Development is trying to adopt in the entire Southeast and other states of the Southeast. And I'm aware there's a 250 hectares that's about to be commissioned next month by His Excellency. I've seen the plan. I was with the Commissioner of Agriculture and also the essay to the Governor on Agriculture, and I saw the plan. And it's big, it's massive. And right in the estate, there's also a provision where our tractors are going to be parked, because we're not going to be deploying tractors from our site into the estate, because it's a vast, massive land.
Yes.
So there's a provision in the farm estate where we're going to be having our tractors parked. And we also intend, like I spoke with him, I said, we're not just going to be parking our tractors there, we're also going to have a mini service center in the farm estate, so that in a case whereby any of the tractors has to go through any maintenance, we have our workers right there.
It's great that you
too.
brought up maintenance, because I know there's a 3-year warranty for the tractors. So would you walk us through as well the cost of each tractor? How much does it cost to construct one tractor, and why the 3-year warranty? Why not 12?
12 years?
I don't think there's any tractor in the world that has even 8 years warranty. Even the John Deere doesn't have that.
That is what we're bringing into the table here, because my team from Denmark, my employees, is going back and forth from Denmark to guide, train, and all these kind of things. So the mechanics at the site, the youth that's coming in to know a Nortra tractor, maintain it, because that has been the big issue. That has been the big issue in Africa for a long period. And what we're bringing in now to just have spare parts, storage at the site. If you want to change something, you just do it. You don't have to wait like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So. And just so you know, Nortra is the first brand that is bringing in maintenance culture in Nigeria. No other brand has that.
Why do you say that?
Because no other brand has that. So when you go to other states where you have people that procure tractors, you see a lot of tractors that are broken down and nothing's going on about it. You get what I mean? And I have some state governors too that has told me that they wouldn't procure tractors if the sellers of the tractor had already come in and invest and set up like a service center in the States. So basically, Nortra is the first brand that is coming in to set up, not just sell the tractors, but also interested in the service of those tractors. And that's why I could say that we're the leading brand right now. And we're also given a leverage to provide, accommodate employment, because we're going to have our expertise from Denmark that are going to be here. But again, we want to engage the youth to also do this themselves. So that's why we're going to embark on massive trainings and all of that to make sure that a lot of people are putting money in the pocket from activities of agriculture.
All right, so we have a long way to go. I have so many questions, but let's just take a quick break now and try to process all the information. And when we come back, we'll learn more about this significant partnership between this, of course, this business and the state government. Enugu Queen returns in just seconds. Stay with us. The sleeve of the Rangers t-shirt. He said, this is, of course, Amobi Azaku speaking. At Rangers International FC, we believe in partnerships that go beyond just branding. We seek collaborations that embody our values and vision. Our sleeve sponsorship with Nortra Tractors is one such alliance, one that represents strength, resilience, and progress both in football and in the broader economy. Nortra Tractors is at the forefront of agricultural transformation, empowering farmers and communities with cutting-edge mechanization. This mirrors our mission at Rangers to empower, inspire, and drive excellence in Nigerian football. Their presence on our sleeves is not just a logo placement. It is a symbol of growth, hard work, and the unbreakable spirit that defines both football and agriculture. And I do understand that this is not the first football club that you are even putting your stamp, your signature on. What has inspired your taste for football clubs?
Not even only the stamp and signature, it's also about money.
Yes.
Because what we're doing is like, we're trying to build make a copy-paste. What we're doing in Denmark to implement now in Enugu. So what we do, whatever we do, if it's sponsorships or if it's investing in it could be like, what in our industry, but I have played football for a long, long time. I stopped when I was 22, so that means 11 years ago. And my passion for football is just massive. So when my managing partner, Chinedu, and Philip told me about that we should do something with the Nugu Rangers. So we made our research from home and looked into could there be some synergies in it. Because if we also could put the football club in Denmark, which we are head sponsoring,
Yes.
together with the Nugu and create something, if it's talents to Denmark or whatever, it is a good story.
Yes.
So I'm very passionate about football and for the partnership with the Nugu Rangers, definitely.
I mean, that was a huge one. That was a 200 million naira sponsorship deal. That was massive, and it elevated the club a great deal. They're still showing appreciation today. And so it was a great one. Thank you for supporting our very own. So let's come back to you now. What is your own drive towards sponsorship? How do you feel about that idea?
Well, we talked about football because of his love in football, and I as well. And the managing partner, Chinedu, is also a FIFA license agent. So we're all in the football. But then again, when we had the meeting with His Excellency, I remember putting the question across to him, and we asked him, we have some money to do CSR already in the States, so what area would you like us to invest in? And he said football. And we said that was exactly what we're intending to do. And right there, when we finished the meeting with SLA, we went right straight to Rangers office and we signed a deal with them to take up the
sleeves. And that's fantastic. So it's great that you mentioned corporate social responsibility, because I know that's something you're also into, Mr. Morton. Could you tell us about your drive for CSR?
If we talk about this kind of thing, or you mean for the...
Generally, because when a new business comes, sometimes communities, people wonder, do they mean well for us? Are they going to be a challenge to us? Are they going to do things that would upset us in the long run? How do you abate that? What's your own idea of corporate socials?
What we want to do is like giving something to make like for the local, we're creating jobs, as you know, but we want to make like this mini Scandinavia, implement mini Scandinavia in Enugu. So if we can just put a part in Enugu and create these local jobs, which is modern, European standards, I would say that. But especially we are into sports, as you know. We are looking into, we have a family living at the site. We are taking care of that family because they are part of us. So,
Okay, so you talked about, tractors spoiling, breaking down, people just leaving them, and you are making a difference with the service center, of course. Now, are there special features that tractors that you are bringing into Africa, into Enugu by implication, would have to withstand the muscles of some of the drivers? I believe the way we operate things here are quite different. We sometimes use too much the anger of the economy to operate to operate our devices. So, is there any provision for some kind of additional care?
No, the equipment itself is an angry equipment as well. It also comes with its own frustration and needs to be handled with frustration too. But then that's why we have different horsepowers, basically. So, in the future, when we're talking about assembling the 1000, we're not just going to be assembling the 1000, it's going to be on order. And those orders are going to be when we go and take a feasibility study on the area where it's going to be used. We know the kind of soil that's here. If it's going to be mushy, sandy, hard soil. And when we know that, then we know what horsepower is going to work for any terrain, and then we go ahead and manufacture it. So it all depends on the horsepower of the tractor and then where it's going to work on.
Okay, so you talked about employment, and lots of people, of course, that ignited their interest because they're saying, would Nortra finally take me out of my house and give me a job? Will I finally stop looking like that meme of the, I don't want to describe it too much, but there's this funny meme of the cow that is just sitting down at home. And every time the parent comes back, it's like, what, you're still here? They've not made suya of you yet, So I'm just trying to now get you to explain to us how much employment that you are going to bring to us.
You mean locally?
Yes,
Yeah.
local employment capacity.
Like we already started the hiring process, finding the best people, because that is what we want. We want like quality. If we get quality, you will have your paycheck after that, if you know what I mean. And that is what we're trying to implement, because when I say we want to build like European standards in Enugu, that also means like for the paycheck, for the payroll. So we want people to be dedicated members of Nortra,
Right.
but also the best.
All right.
And this will be like more modern, as I have seen now Nigeria for a while. It's gonna be more like 8 to 5 each day, not 12 hours a day, but 8 to 4, 8 to 5, and people will have their paycheck every month and so on. So, and that is what we want to create.
Okay, now
Yeah.
people always will still get back to you. I'm sure you would speak to that as well. But then now the assembling process. Some people would wonder, the imported ones they might feel would be of superior quality because, I mean, it's brought in. But when it comes to using local equipment, some people might have reservations. Is it going to be strong enough? Are the 800 more going to be weaker than the 200 that we're? How would you reconcile that?
No. It's what we're assembling here. All we're doing here is assembling the tractors, but the parts are the same.
So the parts would still coming.
Yeah,
from
the
Denmark.
parts are coming in as they are already fixed.
From Denmark, right?
Yeah, from Denmark. And it's good to know that everything about Nortra is Denmark. Our engines are Nortra engines manufactured in Germany. So it's the best of the engines you can think about. Yeah, so when we talk about assembling, it's like we're talking about assembly, like couplings, just like when you talk about Innocent,
Yes.
assembling Innocent cars. It's not inferior, it's about it's just still going to be with the parts. If the
Yes.
parts are inferior, then it's inferior, but if the parts are solid, it's solid. So what you see coming in from Denmark is exactly what you're going to get right here in
All right.
Nigeria.
Okay, that's fantastic. But now people will also be wondering, I mean, operating locally, I'm sure they were so excited when they heard that the tractors will be assembled here eventually. Are there any locally sourced equipment, even if it's a screw, that we're going to
Of
get
course.
from?
Oh, yes.
You know, tell us, just provide some kind of picture
Yeah.
of the local parts that might be used.
I can, from a tractor to another thing, now we're gonna like put furnitures, for example, into our site. Where do we go and buy it? In Denmark? No. In Enugu, of course. We're giving
Great.
back to Enugu.
Yeah.
So everything will be like, we will use our money in Enugu because we are Enugu. Like, so that is the whole plan for it.
Yeah, and talking about the tractors, I think His Excellency mentioned about manufacturing of tires here in Enugu.
Oh, that's great. That's
I think there's an investor trying to get that done here. So if that's done, of course, we'll procure, we'll give our
I mean, that's
specifications.
bigger than a
Exactly.
screw. So, I mean, that's a
So-
pat on the back.
So we give our specifications, and our tires are going to be manufactured here in Enugu, and then we use it. And then if there's any other, I think there's a plastic company too here in Enugu, so we can look for one of our parts that, so we'll make sure that the supply chain,
In-house.
goes wrong.
In-house,
Yeah,
in-house.
absolutely. And talking about deployment, there's what I want to say is that any young person or old person, any unemployed person in Enugu and beyond that is thinking about becoming a millionaire or a billionaire through agriculture, I think this is the time, because the supply chain, as long as agriculture is being concerned, is enormous, is huge. And next year we're going to bring in a program whereby you just come. The government is going to give you land. We're going to give you all equipment that you need. All you need to do is just have the strength, the zeal, and the ability to farm. And then when you're done with your produce, we're going to buy off your produce from you. And then you go home with your money.
I have a very deep question to ask now. So as a follow-up to what you've said, because you've painted a vivid picture of the strength and beauty of agriculture. So I would like to throw it back to you. You initially used to play football. You were a soccer player, and you eventually decided to set up this plant. Nortra has come, and now it's about to take over Africa. What is it that our young people are not seeing in the potential of agriculture? What is it that you saw that they should be seeing to start to invest in similar projects like you have?
You mean from outside?
Yes, from every
Yeah.
part of the world. What is the potential you saw?
I think business is about a lot of things, but definitely taking risk. So, as a Dane, I'm here to try to develop the community here. So to answer your question, it's like Africa is not well known for me before I entered. So, but now it seems good. Everything is clear. Everything just work and so on. So it's just a good history to be here. So I don't know what it takes and so on, but it takes some will to come here to Africa, because we're doing things differently, and I respect Nigeria, Enugu, and Enugu, Nigeria respects us. So it's just a good match. Yeah.
What is the big picture? What is it that you think would motivate? What could you tell young people? Because I understand that one of the reasons the government wants this investment to succeed and to work is to remind Enugu residents of the strength of agriculture. The government wants more farmers. The government wants more people investing in agriculture. So what is it, as someone who is in the industry, though you are there, doing the groundwork to get them the equipment to use and the machinery, what is it that they should be seeing? What would you say that would encourage our young to become interested in even training at Nortra, in even investing in agriculture?
Yeah, it's like the farming down here is crazy in the good way. So what we should focus on, and especially the youth, if Nigeria, which has so much, how can you say that? There's so many opportunities for Nigeria, especially for export to make money. And what do you need for the agriculture? You need tractors to do the necessary, and all that. So the youth should think tractor industry is just a very good and solid business, not only for now, but for a long decade. So, yeah.
Okay, let's come back to you now, engineer. I know you would like to add to that conversation as well. Now, speaking about the future of this, we know that it's not going to be easy. And we know that you know a lot about this industry and what the challenges could be. So what are the challenges that you foresee that the governments, the people should prepare themselves for, especially when scaling up tractor production locally?
In terms of the tractor production?
Yes.
Basically funding. Funding is always a bridge and a gap in any business. And, but hopefully we're in business now and we're going to be taking it the step at a time. The 100 are already here. I can tell you, talking with the Commissioner for Agriculture, I already completed, like in terms of sharing formula to where they're going to and all of that. And hopefully, when we increase and keep going, we hope that more people are going to get interested in farming. Just like your last questions, when you talk about what do you see, what's your vision? I see a vision whereby a young person, just as much as you see yourself being in a hospital as a medical doctor, or you see yourself being an engineer in a factory, you can also see yourself in the farm as a farmer, as a very young guy, wearing your Apple Watch, being on your stores and controlling your tractor from your phone and spraying fertilizers with your drone, controlling with your phone. That's the level we're getting to, whereby every young person is going to be. Let me give you an instance. Real talk, real life. Last month, someone called me up and asked me if I could fund her business. Is a lady, and she's just 27. And she said she has an expectation for cocoa, and she needed 30 million. And she was going to give me back the 30 million in 15 days with an interest of 5 million. And I thought it was a joke. And I said, okay, fine. And I gave her the money, and in 15 days, she gave me back with an interest of 4 million. And that opened my eyes on how lucrative the cocoa industry is. And I bet you it's not just cocoa. It's like that in every sector of agriculture. So, when I look at a lot of youths that are doing nothing, it's consoling to know that agriculture is coming to that level whereby everybody's going to get engaged. And even if you don't have anything, as long as you have a vision and you have the zeal, you're going to make money while you get engaged in agriculture. So hopefully, we're going to make sure we cut down, minimize expenditure, and maximize productivity in terms of scaling up our production and manufacturing of tractors and engage a lot of people to get success.
So now, I can't leave without asking this question, right? And we've talked about the good side of it. Now, the cost of producing one tractor. How much does it cost to produce one tractor? You can give us the dollar or the naira figure.
Yeah, depending on the horsepower. But let us say for 75 horsepower, we're looking at roughly about $18,000.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. So that is the reason why we're coming in with the blueprint we're coming in. Yeah. You and I know that the regular farmer in Nigeria can't afford that. Even a big farmer cannot cough out $17,000 just to buy a tractor. So that is the reason why we're calling on what we're doing right now, where we're coming in as private sector and merging with the government, so that we can set up, and good enough, the governor of Enugu State is seeing the future, whereby we have these tractors, and these farmers will come in cooperatives. They form cooperatives, they come in cooperatives, they have the schedule, what they want to do, when they want to cut, when they want to clear, when they want to spray, when they want to, all of that. And then we can now come in. All they need to do is come as a cooperative and lease these tractors for the time they want the services.
Okay, so the tractors don't always have to be bought. They can also be leased as well.
No, they're going to be leased.
That's great.
So the government is coming in between, bridging the gap, for farmers. So the government acquired these tractors, and they have it. And we have this leasing company where we now lease this tractor to farmers. So basically, no farmer cannot bring out the money to buy. But of course, you can always lease tractors and do whatever you want to do.
I think that's a smarter arrangement. You lease, you use, you return, and it keeps the tractor in working condition, because who knows if you have...
I have a friend that has a farm in Imo State, and in the last 1 month, they're looking for tractors up until now. In the last 1 month, they can't find any tractor anywhere. They can't find any tractor anywhere.
Okay, you'd like to add to that, Mr.
No, I'm just saying that in Europe we just lease all our tractors, because in Europe the prices are higher on tractors, but the thing is don't pay like $100,000 up front. They just have a lease by 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So that's normal in especially Denmark. So if your credit rank is good, here's your tractor, and they just lease it.
So if before you lease a tractor out to any farmer for whatever purpose, you have to check the credit record of the individual.
Of course.
So what are the things, because I was going to come to accessibility now. I know we're still yet to see the inauguration and all, but for people watching, the information would help them start to plan the rest of their year. What documents would need to be provided before the tractor can be leased to a farmer? And, tell us too about the arrangement around leasing it, how it can be accessible to the farmers.
So right now we're working with the government. We're working with Enugu State government. So that automatically means that these tractors belong to the state government. So we're just going to be helping the state run these tractors. So, but regardless, you're not just going to walk up to us as a farmer, as a single farmer, to lease the tractors from us, because it doesn't belong to us anymore. It belongs to the state. So we're working with the state government. So if you're a farmer and you need tractors and you need our services, you must have to be on the database of the Enugu State Agricultural Commission. Go and register, and so that wherever you are, let's say you're a farmer in Nkano, you're going to be gracious enough to join the cooperative in Nkano. So it makes it easier for you. So if you're going to lease a tractor, if, for instance, we're just playing around with figures, if you're supposed to pay $1 million to lease a tractor for a day, then if you have a cooperative that you belong to in your vicinity, it could probably cost you just $20,000. Because, of course, this is your farm, this is another person's farm, this is another, and then the tractor comes to do all the job at once. So it's going to be easier to be among the cooperatives, and you must be registered with Enugu State government, basically.
I think that's a solid plan. I think that's great, because it's also encouraging unity. It's encouraging people to join the community, the cooperative. It's encouraging people to share ideas, to collaborate in order to achieve one thing, the angry tractor. to be able to do their farm work?
We intend, the bigger goal is not just to do this in Enugu State, but do it in entire Nigeria.
Yes.
So we're calling on the Minister of Agriculture. I mean, the federal government also procured 2,000 tractors not long ago. And sorry to say, not like I'm trying to talk down, in Niger State as well, the governor has ordered for 1,000 tractors and they have about 300 on ground right now. But most of the times when you go to Niger State and ask a local farmer, you know, have you seen the tractors? Have you seen that?
That's where the problem is.
There's a problem. There's no system in place to have these tractors get to the smallholder farmers. And that is the gap we're trying to bridge here right now. So we want a situation whereby if you go to the most remote area in Enugu State and call on the most remote farmer, he or she can give you a testimony that the tractor has worked in his or her farm for a couple of times.
Now, the how question, because we're already out of time, I would like us to wrap up with the how question, because smallholder farmers, and I like that you brought them at this point in the conversation, will be wondering how they're going to get access to this and how their access will be ensured. So we don't just see the tractors parked.
Right now, in the database of Enugu State, I've seen the registration of about 50,000 smallholder farmers.
Beautiful.
I've seen that. So I don't know how they're doing it, but however they're doing it is working. There's a database already in place. So if you're also part of them and you're not registered, you just try and get involved and register. And just be rest assured that we're going to come to your farm sooner or later.
Fantastic. All right, Mr. Morton, any final word on this?
Philip, he spoke very well for it, very well.
Okay, so you understand that you will be traveling or jetting off again soon to return again.
Absolutely.
So what would you like to leave with? What word would you like to leave also we can hold on to that?
I mean, it has been like a fantastic week again in Enugu State. All the tractors are here. The progress is good for the plant. So hopefully by end of this month we will do the commissioning with my team from Denmark. And yeah, I can't wait to get back, you know, because it's so good energy down here. So yeah,
I can't wait to get back. I'm sure we're going to hold on to that. We're already crafting the headline. I can't wait to get back. But let me ask you this last question, if my producer would allow. Why are you just choosing now? Why didn't you invest years ago? Why now?
Everything happens for a reason. And when I met Philip and Chinedu a few years ago, then we have spoken about a lot of countries, a lot of states and so on. But in Enugu, as I said before, everything happens for a reason. So now we're here. And as I told at the groundbreaking, we want to invest and we want to invest more in the state.
All right, so we look forward to the commissioning. We look forward to everything, you know, coming to fusion. And of course, it's great that the smallholder farmers are on the table right now because their needs, I mean, these are the people that are working day in, day out to ensure we get the food on our table. So it's great that they're also making the news. And we'll keep watching, we'll track, and we'll hope to get a copy of the register soon. We're coming to the ministry to ask questions. Thank you for joining the show this evening. But of course, we had the MD, Nortra Tractors and Equipment Limited, and CEO, ODK Group, Mr. Morton, and Honorable Engineer Philip Ejogo, the Director, Nortra Tractors and Equipment Limited. We discussed how Enugu State is unlocking its agricultural potential through this partnership with the state's government. And I've been your host, Nathalie Uku. This is saying have a lovely evening ahead, and bye for now.